And welcome, folks, to episode 47 of the Ministry of Dice podcast. We're a UK-based podcast talking about all things Dice Masters in the United Kingdom. I'm Chris, otherwise known as True Mr. Six, and with me today I have Andy.
The Ilya Kuryakin to your Napoleon solo.
What? I don't get that one. Is that Star Trek?
What?
Say it again.
Ilya Kuryakin to your Napoleon solo.
No, I don't know
mate,
the reference.
There's going to be people screaming.
Is it a really obvious
radio.
one?
Let's do some 20 questions. Go on. Fire away.
Is it from a movie?
Yes and no.
Oh, that's helpful. Is it?
Or yes and something else.
Is it from a TV series?
Yes.
Is it American?
Yes.
Oh my word. Is it still on television?
No.
Is it science fiction?
No.
Is it fantasy?
No.
Is it crime?
Yes. Ish, yes.
Was it on in the 80s?
No.
Was it on in the 90s?
No.
Was it on in the noughties?
No.
Oh, wow, okay. The 70s?
No.
The 60s?
Yes.
Bloody hell, the 60s.
That's why I thought it'd be well up your street.
Yeah, man, I'm quite surprised. What's going on? What's happening? How many questions have I had? Probably too many.
I think that's about 14.
About 14. A famous show in the 60s, crime. It's not Starsky and Hutch, is it?
No. That would be
Starsky and Hutch. Oh, I don't know. I give up. Put me out of my misery.
Let me give you a clue.
Okay.
That's the theme tune.
Is it? I don't recognise it, although I like it. Great. That's some great 60s jazz flute going on there.
I tell you what, if you've not seen any of these, then like you've got a weekend sorted.
Have I? Have I really?
It was remade recently into a film.
Remade recently into a film. That's not really helping. They remake everything nowadays.
It had Superman in it.
Oh, The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
Yeah.
I have seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E.
And the series.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Okay. Well, there you go.
There we are. Well, that was 3.5 minutes well spent podcasting there.
Yeah, we'll keep it tight this week, don't you worry.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not like we've got loads of content. Well, good evening, my man. Thank you for that.
No problems. Anytime.
I love a bit of 60s jazz flute.
I used to play the 60s jazz flute, I thought.
Well, there isn't an instrument I can't play, to be honest. You know,
multi-instrumentalist.
I'm quite an accomplished fluteist.
Fluteist.
Yeah, quite an accomplished fluteist. I don't know who's a famous jazz flute player.
You.
Me. Well, yeah. Aside from me, what's his name? Herbie Mann. You wouldn't know.
Isn't that a car?
Herbie Mann. Oh, of course you know. Of course you know who Herbie Mann is, because little known fact for the listeners, actually.
Oh, here we go.
We've talked about this many times, that Andy actually looks a lot younger than he in fact is. And I do believe back in the 70s, Herbie Mann had a little bit of a crisis of confidence around jazz flute. It was the age of rock. It was the age of punk. He was a little bit concerned that the musical heart of jazz flute wouldn't survive. And weren't you in a jazz duo with him doing your piano at one point?
For a little while.
Yeah, toured the world, didn't you? Very popular in the Far East.
Especially Japan.
Oh, of course, yeah, it's always Japan. Music's
Always.
very popular out there, yeah. So what? I don't know what I was thinking. Of course, you know who Herbie Mann is. Yeah, there we go. Right, well, nearly at 6 minutes now. Let's talk some Dice Masters. So, good evening, my good man.
Good evening.
How are you today?
I'm very well. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm all right. I wouldn't say I was great, but I wouldn't say I was awful either. I'm just ploughing right through the middle.
Oh, is there any reason for that?
Not really. Just a little bit of tiredness from a busy couple of days in work. And then some stuff that's going on with the house that I won't bore anybody with because it's just super boring. And then my kids have just been real arses getting into bed tonight.
Oh, well, let's cheer you up now.
Yeah, please do. What have you got for me?
What have I got for you? Well, my gaming for the last 2 weeks. Should we get into some actual content?
Yeah, let's do that. What have you been playing?
Not a lot. Well, we have had, and we will be speaking about in-depth analysis of the MOD PDM. That's coming up, stay tuned. So a little bit of practice for that, and that didn't help at all. And the actual event itself, which was great. Other than that, I've not really done any board gaming or other gaming. However, have had quite a few nights of Apex Legends.
Oh, you've been back on the Apex.
Back on the Apex level 86, I believe I am currently.
Right. Okay. Would you like to know what level I am?
Are you level 100?
Not quite. 94.
94. Wow.
Yeah.
Me and Javier, aka J Dog, and Rob Shaw, aka R Shizzle, and myself, Andy, aka A Bomb. The three musketeers of Apex have been running around getting shot on the head every which way possible. So I did that last few nights. But that's about it.
I'd
say that's about it.
I was watching your stream. I was watching your stream on, I think it was Sunday night. Was it Sunday night I was watching you?
Sunday or Monday.
Yeah, I've watched a couple of your streams now. You're getting better, that's for sure.
Yeah, if you are interested, I can let you know what my Twitch, what's it called? Handle? Is that what it's called?
I don't know.
It's not that great, but we do it really to share for the friends that aren't available to join in. But if you're really interested and you want to see some top-end computer action, let us know.
Top end computer action, really?
Yeah, that's what the professionals call it, isn't it?
Yeah. We streamed a game last week.
We did, didn't we?
Well, in fact, we've been streaming games quite regularly now.
Pretty much every Wednesday, isn't it?
Yeah.
After we record, we get a game on.
Yeah, we usually put one of the games out. We only streamed one of our games last Wednesday though, because after the stream, we got our secret nationals preparation teams out.
Which is going really badly, by the way.
Well, not for me. That Common Kate Bishop's team is solid.
Oh, true story.
I can't see me. Well, I suppose that's why you're saying it's going so badly, though, because you've not been playing that team and you've been on the receiving end of that mighty card.
It's a beast.
Yeah.
How about you? What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Let me think. So, non-Dice Masters related, some stuff with the kids. Past the Pandas was out just earlier today. We got something out last week as well. What was it? Oh, Kung Fu Zoo. That's still retains its popularity some number of months later from Christmas now. Me and the hashtag competitive wife have fallen behind a bit on our pandemic legacy, though.
Oh dear, need to catch up.
Yeah, we do need to catch up. Busy weekends getting in the way. She volunteers, my wife, so she's been doing some volunteering stuff over the weekend. I've obviously had things like MOPDMs going on. So we'll get back on that. But Dice Masters related, obviously the MOPDM, the games with yourself that we've been streaming. And then down at the FLGS, we did translucent dice only.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's a bit different. So all your dice, you have to be able to hold it up to the light and see the light coming through them. And I dug out a card that I've owned for some time, but never really got around to playing with, and that was King Black Bolt.
Oh, yeah. It's quite good, isn't it?
Yeah, it is quite good. Well, I put two win cons on the team. I had King Black Bolt and I had Larfleeze with Insect Plague.
Right.
So King Black Bolt, and then I was using Mogrok from the Warhammer 40k Orcs War team pack, who's got a global pair shield. Target character gets +1 defense. So the plan was, although it didn't really happen so much, was to get King Black Bolt out and then just hammer his defense up using Mogrok, targeting him with the global and ping away like a maniac. But in a format where you can't manipulate your energy quite as well because there's no energy fixes, or what's the action? Somebody mentioned it to me.
Ping.
No, the one that lets you swap a character out. Jesus, I want to say nowhere.
Misdirection.
No, because the problem with the King Black Bolt is that it's the 4 energy and you can't use a question mark.
Oh yeah, is nowhere or the other one?
Might be nowhere.
What's the prison?
I can't remember. But that one, someone out there will know. Someone put it in the comments. Someone put it in the comments. There's a whole strategy about getting him. So he only hit the table once, which was sad. I struggled to buy him all game long, but the control I put in there was great. Cracking bit of control going on. I used that Enchantress, the 6 cost that is basically like a pumped up Oracle, the one that makes your opponent pay 1 to use a global or an action dice.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I had Captain Cold's Cold Gun as well. So yeah, fun though, fun. I like it. It put me in a position to dig out some cards and dice that I don't often use. Tried out a super rare that I've been meaning to try out for like ages. So yeah, that was cool.
It is nowhere, by the way.
It is nowhere. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So I might revisit it, go have a little go because I enjoyed it. I just couldn't quite get him out. When he did come out, it worked perfectly.
It's 50% of the time. Works 100% of the time.
That's the one. So there you go. There's my gaming life. There's my stuff that's been going on. So if there's any UK listeners, just to momentarily tangent, it is Wednesday today. Wednesday the 22nd as we're recording. So by the time this goes out on Monday, we'll be in X-Men Forever release week. And it's
how exciting.
I know it's supposed to be dropping this week in the States, but I had word from my guy over at Asmodee saying that it's dropping next week. So I think Thursday is WizKid.
Yeah, it's usually a Thursday, isn't it?
Yeah. So keep your eyes open for that one, folks. Get your pre-orders done.
That's not bad at all. A week difference.
No, that is pretty good. Yeah, that is pretty good.
Yeah.
But I mean, believe it when we see it, I suppose, is the is the commentary on that. But he must have been pretty confident because I wasn't chasing. He just emailed me out the blue, so he must have been pretty confident about it, I'd have thought. So yeah, that's some good news. That's some good news, and it's the UK Games Expo, a week on Friday.
Crikey, that came up quick.
Yeah, it's come around pretty fast. Sadly, no Dice Masters UK Nationals taking place there.
Boo.
Yeah.
It could have been a tent in some field somewhere, isn't it?
Who knows? Who knows what's going on that front, my man? We'll just have to exercise some patience.
In fact, it's quite a good idea. We could do the Great British Dice Off. Ministry of Dice Presents.
Yeah.
Put up a big tent in the grounds of some stately home somewhere.
Yeah, get a couple of presenters on the go, ship in some team brewing experts.
Yeah. Oh, dog's trying to get in.
All right.
Or it's raining. It's not raining. Hold that thought. And he's back.
Yeah, so lots going on these shores. Gaming related, not necessarily all Dice Masters though. So that's good. I don't think there's anything else. Should we have a chat about what we've got coming up in the episode then?
Let's do it.
So as Andy mentioned before, not this weekend, but the weekend before, we had the MOD PDM take place at the Crescent Gaming Consortium in Leamington Spa. We recorded some live audio on the day. We'll have a little bit of a chat about how we felt it went, and then a bit of a talk about the teams that people were playing and kind of what was going on. Just give you a bit of an event report. Then with X-Men dropping in the States this week and dropping over here next week, we'll move on to a good old classic Miniature Dice pick of the week, where me and Andy have taken a look over the cards from the campaign box and the associated team packs and pick something that stands out to us to have a little chat about. And I think is that it this week? Is there something else?
Did you need more?
No, I don't think so. I think the MOD PDM one's quite long, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I think that's more than enough for our listeners' ear holes.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's get on with the show. Yes, boys and girls, welcome back. And last weekend was the MOD PDM event that took place at the Crescent Gaming Consortium in Leamington Spa. I think I said that in the intro. If you're new to the podcast and you're not aware of what we're talking about right now, I suppose we should contextualise it for anyone who is unaware as to what we're talking about. Would you like to do the honours, my man?
Don't mind if I do.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, the Ministry of Dice Presents Dice Masters are events that we put on across the UK over the course of the year to play different formats. We did one constructed this time round. Last time we did single affiliation, so we'll change it up a bit.
Yeah, we've done Global Escalation and Golden before now as well.
Yeah, we set them up really informally. So there is Chris's mystery prize box where each game that you win in a round, so even if you lose your round but you've won a game, you get a raffle ticket that you can draw at the end of the event, and the raffle ticket corresponds to a random prize set out on the table, all of which are pretty good quality.
Thank you.
Better than that, really good quality. Actually, those what are those models you had? The statues.
Well, there were a couple of different ones, but I think a few of them came home, didn't get picked out in the raffle. It was the Q figures, maybe.
Yeah, they were very cool. So even if you're crap, you can come along and get some prizes. If you're good, then you got some really good prizes on the top end. We do a play all day strategy, which has come to know as the MOD style tournament.
Yeah.
Which is internationally renowned. And that is, there's no top cuts. So if you've come for a day of gaming, if you've come to try it out and have a day out of it, you're going to play all day. Doesn't matter if you lose. We're not going to kick you out the door at lunchtime and tell you to go and get a coffee and bugger off. You're in for all the games. We usually get about 5 games in throughout the course of the day. So you're in for a good gay of gaming, or a good day of gaming. Put me out of my misery.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't know. It's tempting just to leave you flapping about. Yeah, that's right. So it's a Swiss event. Swiss rounds all day. The intention with the mystery prize box is that each of the prizes has got a raffle ticket attached to it. Every game you win on the day, you receive a raffle ticket. So even if you're on for a loser and you're not having such a great day, all you have to do is pull a couple of game wins out. And even though you might not rank quite highly over the whole day, there's a bit of swag for you to take away at the end to make it all worthwhile. Although I say that, the gaming itself is worthwhile because the community, certainly the regulars who turn up for these, are just a top-notch bunch of guys.
Especially us two.
Of course, naturally, yeah. And that must be an attractive element to the whole thing as well, because you may well get paired up with me.
Or me?
But probably mostly me.
I don't know. I gave away my first autograph this weekend.
Yes, that's right. Mark has managed to complete his set now on his playmat. He's got both of us on there.
He's not got Tony, though, has he?
And now that'd be a bit harder to acquire, perhaps.
I think probably is.
Yeah, for sure. So we had 10 players rock up on the day, which is a decent number. We've had higher in the past, but always happy to get a game on the go nonetheless. In fact, Martin, if you're listening, drop me an email or send me a note. We missed you, man.
Yeah, we missed you both. We were expecting you. Actually, in the first VT, we think you're drawing up in the car park.
Yeah. So get in touch. Let us know you're all right. But 10 players, nonetheless. Crescent Game Consortium have always been friends of the podcast, always friends of the game. Very kindly offered to host. It's quite a nice sort of central location for people to be able to get to, isn't it?
Yeah, it's cracking. It's just off the motorway as well. So you bang down the motorway, couple of corners, and then you're there. Unless, of course, there's loads of traffic and you have to go through the middle of nowhere to get there like you did.
Yeah, man. So we started up a bit late because there'd been an accident on the M40 which delayed myself and a couple of other players. So the sat-nav kind of gave me a detour to get off the motorway and go through these kind of back roads. And you know you're in a very different part of the country, a different kind of level of affluence when you drive through a village and the dry cleaners isn't called a dry cleaners, it's called the cleaner of fine clothing.
You've not got one of them?
No, I haven't. No. As if you go to the dry cleaners, don't you send your guy?
I have a dry cleaner.
Yeah.
I'm a permanent employee.
In the basement. The car garage in the village as well. You're like, up the road from me, it's Volkswagen and Skoda. The car garage in the village we drove through was Rolls Royce. I'm not kidding. Not kidding. But yeah, we got started a little late, but there was 10 players there, all set and ready to go. It was Modern Constructed that we played on the day. So I think what we'll do now, we'll play the live round by round update for you now. Should we just do them in a row?
What, one after the other?
Yeah.
Okay. Errol, roll VT?
Yeah. And then we'll come back and have a chat about the teams and stuff.
Cool.
All right, well, good morning, Andrew.
Good morning, Chris. You all right?
Yes, I'm okay. Here we are outside the Crescent Gaming Consortium in Leamington Spa. It's
11:15.
We're all a bit late.
We're running a bit late. I only just arrived due to an accident on the motorway. Is that Martin pulling in there? That might be the player we're waiting for that's just pulling up. Yeah, we're in the car park right now, just getting a little bit of tape laid down. We've got 11 players in total.
Yep, 11.
Is that
good?
Having just arrived, I've not really got the lay of the land very well. I've just rocked up, so I couldn't tell you anything about what type of teams people have got or
Nothing yet. We're just gonna get our dice on.
Yeah. So what a tremendous intro we've just
Full of insight. It's modern constructed. We'll be playing Dice Masters. We'll tell you more when we know more.
Yeah, we'll come back after round 1. See you in a bit, folks. Okay then, folks, here we are then. So that's the end of round 1. How have you done so far, Mr. England?
Done all right, trying a bit of control. Gone 1-1 with Mr. Forward, so happy with that. Can't complain.
I wandered over after my game finished. I was quite surprised to see the team that you're playing, because it's not the one that we've been practicing with.
No, I ditched that last night and built a brand new team with all the bits I was really comfortable with playing with.
Did you get your 100 reps in?
Yeah, it took me a while.
Yeah, sure. That's why you look so tired today. Yeah, very good. Well, I've my first round I've gone 2-0, so that's a win on the board for me. Yeah, for close games though. Unblockable Ant-Man. I got hit for an astonishing hit at one point, and I thought it was all over, but managed to pull it back.
Cool.
Thankfully, that Ant-Man ended up getting buried in the bag and didn't churn around very quick.
What are you playing today?
I've got my Boom Boom list today.
That one.
Yeah, got my Boom Boom list. Yeah. A little bit tinkered with. I'm trying out the Dragonborn Sorcerer for a bit of a change of flavour.
Oh,
yeah.
Make note of that for your US Nats teams.
Yeah. So my thrown brick it goes up from a 1-point hit to a 2-point hit.
Very nice.
Yeah, which gets rid of unwanted Black Widows. All right, well, okay, onwards and upwards. They're just figuring out the next set of pairings, so we'll get cracking on in the next round. We'll be back at the end of round 2. All right, folks, well, we're outside the Crescent Gaming Consortium. Keep saying the name, get that promotion out there. We've finished up round 2, we've had a bit of lunch. Andy is still actually presently eating his lunch.
I'm having a wagon wheel.
A wagon wheel?
Not a roll.
Do they have wagon wheels outside? Is that like a UK thing, or is it?
I think it's a UK thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, TJ will know what we're
There'll be jammy rolls.
Jammy rolls. Yeah. They'll have some version of it, yeah.
Yeah.
I love a wagon wheel. It takes me back to my childhood, that like lunchbox kind of stuff, that, isn't it? In any case, round 2, Andy, how did that go?
Yeah, I got beat. Andy Spug took me to the cleaners with a very similar team.
Well, the current Central European national champion.
Didn't stand a chance, did I?
No, especially now that the best days are behind you.
Whatever. How'd you get on?
So I went, I'm a tie. I've got 1 win and a tie now. So that was me and Seth. Seth's playing his collector list. And I took the first game, he took the second game, and then the third game we just couldn't complete it in time. Got to the end of turns and we both had lives left on the dial.
Oh dear.
Yeah, oh dear. I was so close. Close. I was a roll away from taking it, but them's the breaks. Them is the breaks.
Yeah. This control-y stuff's a bit hard, isn't it?
Well, I think it takes a sharper, more intuitive mind to play it.
Oh, okay. Whatevs.
Right, well, we'll get rolling on to round 3 and we'll see how we're doing in a bit. Come back in a bit. So catch you later, folks.
Bye-bye.
Yes, ladies and gents, so here we are. We're continuing our MOPDM extravaganza, the event of the year. Who needs an official UK Nationals when you've got gameplay of this quality going on?
High standards.
High standards. So we've just finished up round 3. Where are you up to now, Mr. England?
I won it, so 1 win, 1 draw and 1 loss.
Very
nice.
good, yeah. So a full stretch across the board. Keeps the even.
Yeah.
1-1 and 1. Yeah.
1-1-1.
Yeah, I like that.
Symmetry and all that.
Yeah. Even in so many ways. Well, I, sir, am now on 2 wins and a tie. I've just taken my third round. I just played against the Green Lantern team.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, with the Hawk girl and the dude. Green Lantern. Yeah. It was close. Yeah. It was close. That when it gets up to speed, it's terrifying. And he also has a magic billy club that seems to always roll on action phase.
Oh, nice.
And then always seems to roll my dice onto energy phase. Yeah.
Dirty.
So we're going to keep rolling on, ticking on. So we're on to round 4, but I think I'm actually top of the board at the minute.
Well done, you.
It's par for the course, isn't it? It's starting to get a bit normal on these parts.
Still a few rounds to go yet. I found my swing with my control team by not buying any.
Turning it into an aggro team, yeah.
Buying 2 crew captains and throwing them repeatedly. Yeah.
Sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
Sounds perfectly reasonable. All right, then we'll update at the end of round 4. See you later, folks.
Bye-bye.
Okay then, here we are, end of round 4. I am starting to wane a bit. I'm feeling a wee bit tired, mate.
Sleepy. I'm a bit sleepy too, yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's a sleepy day in the mountain spa.
My concentration was going in that last game, which was a shame because I've another tie this round, so I'm 2 wins, 2 ties now.
Oh yeah, I tied as well.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, so
very good.
One win, 1 loss, and 1 win, 1 loss, 2 ties.
Huh?
So 1-2-1, still
1-2-1.
symmetrical.
Okay, yeah, very good. Yeah, good, keeping it even.
Agree with
Yeah, I like that. I've just played a collector team that was centred around Nobby and Black Canary, so 2 win cons there. And you saw an infiltrate team.
I did. Very, very nice infiltrate team. Obviously, been practicing with it. It's one that it's a slow build, but when it gets going, it's hard to stop with the Black Widow and the Angela and the Ricochet and all the prepping and the double damage. So yeah, really nice team. Good fun to play. Draws about right. Happy with that.
Yeah, I'm quite pleased that someone's got an infiltrate team out. You okay? You want? Eye me up.
No, just appreciating your shirt.
Oh yeah, you've got a very nice t-shirt on as well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Where did you get that from?
Oh, I don't know. Exclusive,
specially made, handcrafted.
Yeah.
So we're on to round 5. I think Seth might be looking. So now I'm on 2 wins and 2 ties. I think Seth's on 3 wins and a tie.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I need Seth to tie or lose this round,
And you need to win.
and I need to win for it to even out. All right. Well, onwards then into the next round, and let's see how we fare. Yeah. Right, here we are then. End of round 5. We've not finished. Like, the dude behind the counter, Jamie, is calculating it, but I'm pretty confident that today's winner is going to be Seth.
Yeah, I think so. We've done the basic maths, so I think it's there.
Yeah. So well done, Seth. Congratulations.
How'd you end up doing?
So I've gone for 2 wins and 3 ties all day.
Back to your ties.
Yeah.
Right.
Do you know? Yeah, I need to have a think about what's causing that, because I can't quite get. I can pull 1 win out of 2, and then get so close to the line on the 3rd, and then run out of time. So I think it's a speed thing, a pace thing. Get the win con moving quicker somehow.
Bit of tinkering.
Yeah. I've got a few ideas, but I have a tinker on that. And how have you ended up, my man?
I've done all right. I've ended up 2 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. So I'm quite happy with that, considering I built the team last night and played control before.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That's a good little run.
Yeah, best thing about the control team with the collector: don't buy the collector and just buy everything else.
Well, you just ain't doing it right, dude.
No.
You just ain't doing it right if that's how you're rolling. Let me check that. Yeah, that's still going. I thought he'd stopped on us.
All the Cree captains and all the Cree's men can put the collector together again.
We're going to kick into the... That was very good. It made me chuckle. Made me lols.
Lol.
We're going to kick into the raffle in a minute then, once we've got all the final standings calculated and figure out who's got what raffle tickets.
Oh, that'd be fun.
And get some prize giving done.
Who's going to have the wooden spoon? I don't know. We all like ties and wit like this.
Yeah, I'm not sure. There's been a lot of action today, yeah, so we'll have to see how it pans out. So we'll find out momentarily. Yeah, so there we go, folks. So there's our round by round, blow by blow account on the day. So in terms of final standings, that Seth did indeed win the event. Congratulations to you, Seth. Yeah, because I don't think we confirm it at the end. We just because Seth was still playing while we were recording that last section, weren't they?
Yes, he was, and he did take the crown.
Yes, well done, Seth. And I took the 2nd place.
And I took 3rd place.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Paid off Jamie, who was doing the...
Who was doing the thing. Yeah, don't joke, man. I think there was... I'm not sure the rankings in the middle were quite right.
I gave him my autograph, it was fine.
He needed the 50p, did he?
50p?
Yeah, well, with
I signed a 50p, that was it.
With a bit of postage on eBay, that autograph will go for 50p.
Anyway, so let's have a chat about the team. So Seth's winning team was a collector build. In fact, the collector was quite a popular, or villain-centric teams that were utilising the collector were certainly very popular. So lots of Nobby, lots of Kree Captain, the one that gets bigger, Danger Rooms, the collector himself, Black Canary, the one that villains can't block, lots of kind of villain-centric builds about, and Seth's team was a very villain-focused build. So I think that's quite interesting in terms of what's going on in the UK meta there, that the collector remains a popular card, and one that seems to do well in our tournaments for... I mean, I can't explain why, but it tends to, because Seth and myself went second and third at Nats with the collector last year as well.
Yes.
Yeah, so lots of that going on, which I'm a big fan of. I've always, it's well documented. My feelings on the collector, I love that kind of wombo combo janky fun that he introduces, and he's a natural fit to villainous shenanigans. There's no two ways about it. Yeah,
I had to go with him myself.
You did, yeah. In fact, we should. I don't know if we say it in the live recordings, but you'd been struggling to get a team together for a while. You couldn't quite find something that felt right, so you just sort of chucked that together the night before, didn't you?
I did. We tried different things, and it just didn't seem to have that extra edge. It was fun. It was good. It won sometimes. It lost sometimes, but it didn't have that kind of je ne sais quoi. The night before on the Friday night, I just binned it all and built a collector team that I've played against you a number of times, so I had a good idea of what it does, but I've never actually bothered to put it on my own playmat, and rocked up with that. It was great.
Yeah, so lots of collector knocking around. I tell you what did stand out as pretty popular, though, was the unblockable characters being backed up by the Parasite.
Yeah, that's one to watch. That is definitely Parasites left, right and centre.
Yeah, so there was Poxwalkers,
Ant-Man.
Yeah, Ant-Man, allies with the Insect Plague Global.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just means of making your dice unblockable, backed up by the Parasite. And that combo that James Blore used in the One Big Weekend, where he was pumping up his Parasites with the, not Villainous Pact, the Outsider, was also popular, so definitely one to look out for there.
It's annoying.
Yeah, it is annoying. I tell you what, so I anticipated that it might be around, and I put Kate Bishop Hawkingberg on my team for her Distraction Global. But what I was finding is I wasn't using the Global a great deal, because with the low cost of your Poxwalkers, your Ant-Men, your cheap allies that you could make unblockable, and the Parasite himself is only a 2 cost, people were then able to kind of divert their purchase order to get Wonder Woman Child of Clay. She was around a lot to defend against Globals. Yeah. And as a result, even though I'd put a bit of tech on thinking there's going to be some blockable stuff going on this weekend, I found myself very rarely using it, which is something to put some thought into.
Shriek could do it.
What, Shrieking the Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you mentioned Shriek. I think 9 out of the 10. She was on now 9 of the 10 teams. Well, technically, 9 out of the 10 teams I think had a Shriek. Oh no, Seth didn't have a Shriek, I don't think.
Oh, he's going MOD style.
Yeah, yeah.
True Mr. Six style.
Yes. But yeah, she remains a very popular control piece, and you're absolutely right, Shrieking that Wonder Woman. So there might be a little kind of bit of to and fro, back and forth, or having to look at alternative ways of teching against unblockable attacks.
I found with Shriek that it got quite tactical, because if you Shriek their win con, then they Shriek your Shriek.
Right, yeah. Well,
so
that's been going on.
Then they end up balancing each other out. And if you Shriek their Shriek, then they don't buy it. So it's often like you have to Shriek their win con to get an extra turn before your shrieked. Shriekity shriek, shriek, shriek.
Yeah, I also noticed that a lot of people, when they were playing villain-centric teams, they were relying on the Danger Room a great deal to increase the villain count for things like Nobby attacks or big fat Kree captains to throw across the field.
Yeah, I didn't bring Danger Room.
No, you didn't pop it in yours. You were going for your surprise Grodd, weren't you?
I was.
Yeah.
Do you know what works better on a collector team? Not buying the collector. That's a shock surprise. That takes them out when they the collector purchase. Nope, not going to do that.
Well, not in my experience, but there you go.
Strategy. Double bluff.
Double bluff,
patented
indeed.
Andy England double bluff.
Sure. Get that Shriek wasted on the collector, and then hit him with a hard purchase of a Surprise
Grod.
Yeah. But the danger, getting back to my point, is loaded up with that villain ping global.
Yes.
So I recall in one of my games, I think it might have been with Spug. Spug was sort of casing out what he was going to do, and he's like, "I'm just not going to buy that Shriek. He's just going to ping her off." Even observed that fact and therefore didn't bother. It was just like, I'm just spending energy on something. And I suppose there's something to be said for, well, you put me in a position there to have to spend 2 or 3 bolts every turn, which puts the pressure on me.
Yeah.
My team being a direct damage team, that's not so much of a pressure, but other teams it might be. But you're rooking up with the answer to your own control there, aren't you? In a way.
You are, yeah. But then Collector's got a big old bum on him.
He has, yeah, he has.
Blob's got a big bum.
Mm-hmm. One thing that surprised me was that nobody came with a Fix-It or a Gold Dragon. I'd have thought somebody might have had a Fix-It or a Gold Dragon knocking around.
Yeah, I was quite surprised. I thought we might have seen certainly one of the two. I considered taking a Gold Dragon because I was flicking through my cards and I saw it, but I didn't have time for my 100 games, so it wasn't much of an idea. I'd need to sit down and work out how Masters like the Blorinator gets that singing.
Yeah, well, I think there's a couple of reasons why Gold Dragon, particularly. I think there's a couple of reasons why that didn't show up. I think the first one is that the ownership of the Ring of Winter. When we think about the players that were there, how many people? I didn't ask, but I'm guessing really now. But I wonder how many people actually own a Ring of Winter to give that Gold Dragon team that pace, that speed that it needs.
Yeah.
So that may have been one reason. I think the other reason as well, and this kind of goes for Fix-It too, is that perhaps here in the UK, we're not so much into beat sticks. I think our community kind of likes wombo combo janky stuff, broadly speaking.
You get a game out of it, don't you?
Yeah. And especially at the MOD PDM, where we kind of, the platform that we put it out on is to say this is about getting together, experimenting with teams. Even the description of the event was about, it's a Nats rehearsal. We're not taking this seriously. It's just like bring the thing along that you want to try out kind of event. So that may have also been another reason why. I think Fix-It as well, people have recognised that Static Field, global, Kate Bishop, global. You've got characters like Poison Ivy.
Yeah,
great blockers.
That Wolfguard Terminator is one that I like.
Mm.
He does both Green Dragon, Gold Dragon, and Fix-It. That was just stop him dead, wasn't he? As long as he's still there.
Yeah. So maybe people have tried it out and found themselves teched against, and whereas a cheap, unblockable character with it getting pumped up, doing 2 or 3 big hits is more of a challenge. It's so. Get my 6 cost Fix-It. I've got to put a load of cards in. If we think to Lucan's Worlds teams, for example, I've got to get all these globals lined up to just plough all my effort and energy into getting that 6 cost character, banging them out in the field and hitting them hard. Boom, massive cannon shot. So it just takes one Hawking Bird or one Static Field, and that big cannon, that shock and awe strategy is out the window, because then you've got to go and get yourself a Madam Mask or a Wonder Woman to prevent your opponent from using globals against you. Do you see what I mean? By which point Fix-It's been shrieked. Now this is all just I'm just guesswork on my part, but I wonder if if there's any of the players who were there on Saturday listening, want to drop us a note in the comments, just sort of say, look, I dismissed Fix-It or Gold Dragon because of this reason. I'd love to get a feel for why. But overall, I think in the UK meta, we are just more fans of themey or janky kind of stuff. We're not into beat sticks as much. Maybe. Yeah. Someone correct me otherwise.
I think also we've not had any we haven't had any competitive tournaments to sharpen our swords with. If that's quite a good analogy, actually.
Yeah.
So we don't know. I suppose we are hedging our bets and going more with things that stop as much as possible. So, like, for example, I had Shriek and Blob. I think, did I have Scarlet Witch? I think I had Scarlet Witch as well. So I was thinking, action dice, got to deal with that. That might be really, annoying. Double blanking, because if something comes at me, I might need to get rid of more than one thing. And so if you've got your beat stick and you have your beat stick against something that's geared against it, you're stuffed.
Yeah, and that just becomes a bit of a miserable time then, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I think there's probably a bit of play it safe, have a variety of things that can protect you, and that villain team is a perfect one for it, because all the villain control nastiness can protect you against them quite a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know this, and listeners, will certainly regular listeners and readers of the blog will know this. I've always been a bigger fan of, I'd rather do 2 solid 10-shot hits or 3 7-shot hits and have an assured win than going for the 1-turn kill, trying to get all 20, lining up everything for a big 20-shot hit. And I think maybe there's a number of players in our meta who feel the same way.
Yeah, and to be fair, I've been trying to get that 20-shot hit, and I've been failing miserably with everything I've been trying so far.
Well, maybe you need to, when it comes to UK Nats, maybe you need to fall back on a fix it. I mean, Gold Dragon doesn't do the 20-shot hit.
No, but it's that big smack at the start, and then the cycle round is quick.
Yeah, just basically, there you go, start the game on Half-Life. But, speaking of the rehearsal element of it, like Stu, our man Stu Dixon, Stu.art, he was playing around with the Green Lantern, the baby lantern ring, wasn't he? With his Justice League build, so he was giving that a try out. So has it got some competitive heft? Will it work? Won't it work? And he was kind of experimenting with his Clayface Global and stuff. So that was really interesting to see. But yeah, mostly very dominated by that unblockable attack, backed up by a Parasite, pump globals. That seems to be the order of the day, or collector combo kind of stuff.
Yeah, I was very impressed with Alex's infiltrate team.
Yeah, well, so this was curious. I thought, great job, Alex. So he was the only player with a Venerable Dreadnought on the day.
He did, and thank you for that. My collector appreciated it.
Well, yeah, there you go. I mean, that's the collector story. That's just the narrative of a collector, isn't it? Yeah. But so I think people, we'd largely all dismissed it because of the prevalence of Asian boobs. But the infiltrate team with that Black Widow Shadows bite there, it's actually not that bad at all, is it?
It was like a steam train, because it started off like with quick purchase of Angela and Black Widow, both are 4 costs, I think. So you're buying them, and then they're all going in your bag, and then obviously you're dependent on drawing them over the next 2, maybe 3 turns. But then Ricochet, the one where you prep a dice every time you do infiltrate.
Yeah.
Spot, I think you had the Space Wolfy one, the Grey Hunter.
Sure.
When they're out, I was well on the back foot. So Boobs was doing her thing and half in the damage, but that's still like 4 or 5 damage a turn.
Yeah.
I was like, suddenly the timer has got short.
Yeah.
I've got like 3 turns to do something, or I'm done for. And I drew against him, and it was very enjoyable. Thank you very much, Alex. That was a great game.
Yeah, well, thank you to everyone who came along. I enjoyed myself immensely all day long. It was some great dice rolling. No easy wins. In fact, I pulled a lot of ties out of the bag. My team is very much who goes first, I think. So no easy wins. Thank you to the Crescent Gaming Consortium as well for hosting. We're going to look at getting our next date together. We might do something mid-summer, like a bit of a kind of a really casual sort of informal one, but keep your eyes and ears open.
Depends on Nats, doesn't it?
Yeah, we're kind of hanging on to see what goes on with Nats before we make a decision about our next date. But hopefully you guys, any UK players listening, keep your eyes and ears open for the next MOD PDM date. Lots of swag, lots of fun, games all day, and usually a fun little format for us to have a play around with as well.
What a lovely little wrap up.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, right. Shall we jump on to the next segment then?
Pick of the week.
Let's do it. Yes, welcome back, dear listener. And now to just kind of finish off the episode here, we're going to do a pick of the week.
Pick of the week.
Yeah. So
Love
we're
that theme.
sorry.
Love that theme. Nostalgic.
Very good. There's a weird. Can you hear that weird sound on the line?
That's just me talking, mate.
Oh, okay. You sound like Morph.
I thought I was Chaz and you were Morph.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, pick of the week. So it's X-Men Forever, Dark X-Men, and Uncanny X-Force, the campaign box and the team packs that we've selected a choice card from each that we're going to share and discuss the reasons why we think it's a pick of the week, why we think it's one that we're going to play around with and have a little go of. So we'll just jump straight into it, shall we, my man? Would you like to go first, or shall I?
Let's roll sidekicks.
Oh, okay. 3.
How many did you roll?
3.
No, how many dice in total did you roll?
Oh, 8. I did all 8.
Did all 8. Okay, cool. Really be more prepared before I open my mouth. Here we go. 1.
Oh,
First or second, mate?
that first or second? I'll get mine done then. Well, I'm torn between 2, so I need to pick one. I'll go with this one. I'll go with the non-predictable one. I was going to go for Sage, the Psionic Firewall, the one that makes fielding costs higher, but I think that one's been talked about quite a bit, so I'm going to go for...
This is uncharted territory because we discussed it beforehand, and now we don't know if we've got the same one or not.
Yeah, I know. I've just messed things up. I'm going to go for Danny Moonstar, Empathic Illusion Casting. She's a 2-cost mask with the X-Men affiliation. Is it the same one?
No, it's not actually. Sorry.
Yeah, 2-cost mask with the X-Men affiliation. Her game text reads, when Danny Moonstar is blocked, re-roll the blocking character die. If it rolls an energy face, place it in the use pile and deal 2 damage to its controller. If it rolls a character face, it remains blocking Danny Moonstar on its new level. And her stats read 011, 021, 122 with a max die of 4. And I think, if I'm interpreting the symbols correctly, she's from the campaign box.
Cool.
Yeah, so there you go, Danny Moonstar. So she's kind of like a miniature Yellow Lantern ring. In a way.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
But there's kind of a few things that I sort of like about her. I like the fact that she's just cheap and cheerful.
Yeah.
2-cost mask, very low fielding cost, although she's got the stats to kind of marry up with that, I suppose. You can get her out nice and quick, nice and early, start firing her down the field and putting your opponent in that difficult position where it's, well, if I block, there's this 50-50 risk of me re-rolling, losing my character and taking 2 damage. If I don't block and let it through, well, on level 2 and level 3, she's doing 2 damage. So, so the likelihood is that most people say, oh, I'll let her through to not take the chance of losing their character. And I just think there's loads of cool stuff you could possibly combo with that, So it's not extravagant in any way, but I think... chuck a pump global on your team with her, get her out real quick, and you're just applying pressure to your opponent very, very quickly.
Parasite.
Yes.
You're going to lose your control piece, or are you going to let through, 4, 5, 6?
Yeah, absolutely. And the fact that they remain blocking her if they roll back in, I think is quite interesting as well. Because to me, it's low risk. 2-cost mask might cost me 1 fielding cost next turn if I roll her back in. But for you, it could be anywhere between 2 and X damage, depending on how I set up my combo with her. And you've got a tough decision to make when I throw her down the field.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that. She's a mask character. Cheap mask characters can be quite handy to have around at the minute to plough into a number of useful mask globals that are knocking about. But actually, something just occurred to me. Playing her with the Yellow Lantern ring might be an interesting turn of events.
So they'd have to re-roll it twice?
Well, yeah, I think so. I don't know. Maybe a rules lawyer out
so.
there could tell us. But yeah, as the active player, I suppose I could choose to trigger them and say, right, well, I'll do the Yellow Lantern ring first, roll it. Okay, take the damage from the Yellow Lantern ring. Oh, no, you've failed to re-roll it for the Yellow Lantern ring. Okay, re-roll it for the Danny Moonstar.
Would it not go into the queue system?
Oh, God. Well, I can't even. Neither you nor I are qualified to talk about that.
That's true. Although, over in France, they don't have the queue system when they play Dice Masters.
They don't?
No, they don't know how to queue.
It's stand-up comedy review night with Andrew England.
Tip your waitresses.
Yeah. Try the veal. Oh dear, we're in repeato land. I'm sure we've made that joke before. Ba-dum-tsh. Down, 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 down. So not a great deal else to say about Danny Moonstar. Just I think it's cheap, cheerful, fun. It probably isn't competitive, probably a bit of casual fun, but I don't know. There might be. I think there's just lots of combo opportunities of things that can pump up attack strength or do other fun stuff. Fun such stuff. I like the fact that the rerolled dice goes into the use pile. So if you can manipulate a situation where your opponent's forced to block her, that's quite nice. Although right now, I can't think of a way to do it. Doomlance, there you go. That's an idea. So yeah, not a great deal, but there you go. Just cheap, cheerful fun, I think.
No, very good. Well, it wasn't Danny Moonstar. Wasn't that your name when you were a musician?
No.
That was your stage name?
No.
Oh. What was I getting confused with?
I think you were getting confused with the Vegas stage show that I was part of.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, that was it.
Yeah, not when I was in the band.
No, you're Spanky O'Hara. That's right. It was when you were in the band.
No, so Spanky O'Hara. That was the name I used in that movie I did.
Oh no, we're not supposed to mention that.
No, that's
family show.
I know, absolutely, and you did promise your mum that you wouldn't bring that up again.
Moving on. My choice. See, I'm torn between two as well. Actually, three, but let's say two.
Okay.
Actually, fourth, if I'm honest. Notable mention that Iceman, I think, is going to be
he's
pretty
going to be a thing.
Big on the meta, but that seems a bit obvious.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, magic missile, go to the attack step. There's 10 damage in your face. Absolutely. So I went for Emma Frost, Mental Mistress.
Ooh, blimey. Okay. Refresh my memory. I've got no recollection of this one.
That I will. It's a 4-cost shield. It's got the X-Men affiliation. And listen to this. It is, while Emma Frost is active, when an opponent declares a character die as an attacker or blocker, they may not attack or block with any other copies of that die this turn, including sidekick dice. And it was that little bit in brackets, including sidekick dice, that kind of hooked me in. Right. She's 135, 146, 257. So she's got the big old stats of her, a UXM equivalent.
Sure.
It's the same dice. And the thing that triggered it for me was that it's going to give you a bit of defense against attackers. So if they're attacking, they can't basically attack with more than one character or the same character. Is that an actual sentence?
I don't know. You were on fire tonight.
But yeah, so we talked about sidekicks no end last episode.
Yeah,
and how they were the tipping point when it came to teams like Bard and Beholder. So you're only going to get one of each character. So anything that's trying to swarm and hit you for 6. I'm trying to think of a modern example, but I'm failing. Certainly yesteryear things like Guy Gardner or Batiri Battlestack. There's one that you might want to throw down a few and attack with all at once. Anything like that, it's not going to do it. Mostly it's a sidekicks though. And then on the flip side, when you're attacking, they're not going to be able to wall up sidekicks because only one can block.
Yeah.
Frees up for things like the control pieces again, Collector, Blob, Shriek. They may have to block with them or make that choice similar to your pick of the week. Well, do I block with Shriek or do I let some damage through? And if there's a pump or there's some way of manipulating the attack stats, that could be quite interesting.
Yeah, I didn't think it. So I suppose when you see a character like that, you kind of immediately focus on one element or the other, and I hadn't really thought about the impact of attacking and not allowing your opponent to block with more than one sidekick, because many people use your chump block strategy, don't they?
Exactly. So that was my shot. Again, with these, I've said it before, I'm not one that can really put together a team or think of how a character works without running it through the washing machine and giving it a good go. So when I pick up the set next week or this week as this episode drops, she'll be certainly hitting the playmat and seeing if she's as good as I think she is.
Having a little go with her, yeah. Her fielding costs are a little painful, aren't they?
Yeah, but she's only a 4 cost, and she's got a big old bum on her, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, and she's X-Men affiliation, so there's lots of stuff you can do with that as well, isn't there?
There's a lot of X-Men faffing. I was flicking through the cards. There's quite a lot of synergies and making them. Do you know what? I haven't gone through because there's a lot that make them cheaper, aren't they, to purchase?
Is there?
There's a few different cards that all.
I think there's a Cyclops in there that definitely brings the purchase cost down.
There's definitely more than one. And you wonder what the top end price cards are. You know, is that relevant if they're all quite cheap? But there you go.
Yeah,
but I'll have to flick through.
Yeah, something to have a look at. Yeah, very good. Okay, there you go then, Emma Frost. Thank you, mate.
No probs. Glad I could surprise you.
Cool. Well, as always, we're interested to know your thoughts, dear listener, on either of those cards or the X-Men upcoming sets, what your pick of the week would be. I think you're right, there is some fairly predictable, obvious ones like the Iceman, Hope, that we're going to be seeing a lot of people make use of. I'm currently halfway through drafting an article about Energize that I may or may not ever get round to finishing. So yeah, drop us a note in the comments or sling us a message, and we'll read out your note next episode if there's something that's caught your eye that you think you're going to have a little play with, or you've got an interesting combo brewing at the back of your mind that you're happy or willing to share. Maybe not this close to that, but we'll see.
Yeah,
very good.
I expect not. It's the quiet time, isn't it?
It is. Yeah, it's been very.
No one's going to give away anything.
No, there's it definitely feels a bit like that out and about. But US Nats is only around the corner, so that'll open the floodgates then.
It will. Be interested to see how what different teams get brewed up, ready for the SmackDown.
Yeah, I know I've definitely had a few messages asking for the common Kate Bishop build.
Yeah, don't give that away.
I've not. No, I've absolutely not. Of course not.
Good work.
Cool. All right then, excellent. Well, we'll wrap that one up there. On to the next segment. And here we are then, folks. Oh, see, this is you calling out that you use the same ending has now got in my head.
I hope you've enjoyed listening as much as we've enjoyed recording.
All things must come to an end, and this brings us to the end of yet another episode of the Ministry of Those podcast. We hope you've enjoyed listening as much as we've enjoyed recording it. I don't think we haven't got anything like to call out. Go check out the YouTube channel. We stream live games on a Wednesday, although I must point out actually that not this week but next week we won't be streaming a game because I'll be sunning myself in Miota.
Very nice.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Oh, go on.
Do you know what? We've not mentioned something.
What's that?
We coloured dice.
Oh yeah, the Nationals participation things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope and suspect it's just the lighting in the photograph.
I expect they're more amber.
Yeah, or gold, like championship. Gold colour.
Oh, I like that. Now that would be a good idea.
Yeah. Time will tell. We'll see on that one.
Colours.
Yeah. So head on over to the YouTube channel, like and subscribe, click the bell and all that stuff.
And all that stuff.
How are we doing with hashtag Catch the Cookers?
Oh, it's time for an update. We've got loads of stuff in the intro. There's all that 20 questions.
Yeah, that's right. Troy will be shouting at his wherever he's listening to this right now, because he called me out last week and said, you did the wrap up, and then I looked at my phone, and there was still 5 minutes left on the podcast because we do this